Okay, hello and welcome to today's trading session. We'll be watching the DAX today as usual. Just give me one moment. We've got the pivot points laid out. Notice how they're kind of spread out. So there's no real confluence other than the close and the previous day's low. So what that tells us is that yesterday we closed around the low of the day, and the market's not really that clear on which pivot point is probably going to hold value because they're all kind of spread out. So that's when we have to turn to the order flow to try and figure out what has the value and what doesn't. Now, DAX index, Z5. Okay, the volume looks really thin. So I'm just wondering, obviously it's the 10th of the month, but just wondering if it's meant to be on the next contract. So what I'll do, I'll just go and check that. So I'll just type in FDAX. So we got Z and then we got H. But that's for 2026, I think. I'm just going to click it and then I'll go back to the other contract. Okay. So the contracts are really thin and spread out, and there's not many people trading on this exchange. So I'm going to go back to the FDAX Z. So this is probably the correct contracts, but now it just looks really, I guess, a little bit thin, considering we're almost opening up in the next 1 minute. So it's a little bit strange. Very, very sort of, no one's trading. So I guess if we see some really big orders start coming in and try and determine whether they're long or short, it might give us a bit of an indication as to what's actually going on. So there's just no motion. I might just check if there's a holiday in Germany. So the 3rd of October was a holiday. So we're open now. So this is the German Open. Unfortunately, the London session doesn't start for another hour. So this really kind of throws the open volatility quite a bit. And basically what that means is there's very little volatility at the German Open. There's, I guess, a little bit more at the London Open for the German market, but it's still not quite enough. So it's a bit unfortunate in a sense that we kind of don't get the same opportunities that we normally get, because the market, I guess, is a little bit more balanced. There's less participants in the market, and they're not throwing the value around into places where it shouldn't be. So as a trader, we're looking for imbalances in the market, situations where the market isn't where it should be, and we're looking to simply rebalance the price back to where it is meant to go in the future. So essentially when there's less trading going on, and it's just, I guess, the bigger players are able to move it where it should go a lot easier, there's less opportunity there for us to make a profit, particularly when we need bigger movements to actually make it happen. So we've got 12 contracts up here. We've kind of pushed all the way up, and then this looks like it might have been an ask side limit order, so selling up towards the highs on the mini DAX. We didn't really get that. I guess we got 6 contracts there, followed by more of an aggressive selling on the bid side approach. 10th of October. I'm just doing a bit of a Google search to see what's going on, because I find it a bit strange. As for analysis, as usual, I'll just be looking for rejections off certain levels. If we get a nice push down, I might look to kind of buy, or I might look to sell. No real clear depictions as to what is going to happen today. So this is just more for my followers' sake today, just to jump on and have a bit of a look and share any insight that I can. So I'll quickly run through. So we've got the monthly candle. We're at all-time highs once again. So we basically broke through this high from a few months ago, I should say. Broke through the highs of the few weeks ago on the daily chart. So that was yesterday. Now we're inside the upper Bollinger Band on the daily. No real positioning on the Bollinger Bands for the higher time frames. And then we've got the 4 hour. There's just no real kind of indication of any particular direction right now, which could also lead to the fact that there's less traders because nobody knows where the market's going to go. Like, do you want to go long here? Do you want to go short? It's quite a tough position when the market's so bullish, but it's at such, I guess, super high levels. It's scary to go long, but you also don't want to go short either. So very, very tricky market conditions, and obviously the London session isn't moving the market at the same time. So all in all, it's quite a tricky market. The only thing I can see here is obviously we've got a wick off the Bollinger Band, the midline, and we're going long off that at the moment. But yeah, maybe we'll come down and hit the close at some point. So from this price point, we are 60 points away, so it's not too bad. But then you've got about 45 points up to the R1, and then you've got to have some breathing space on top of that. So look, the risk reward isn't really there. It's super bullish. I'm really just going to stay out of this and give you a bit of a rundown of what I think could happen. But given the current market conditions, it's not something I'm going to sit around and wait and hope the market sets up. So it seems people are not really getting to these sessions at the moment because it's an hour earlier, I guess, for a lot of time zones. So just if you do come to this, watch this recording, just note that the live sessions at the moment, they're an hour earlier, and the UK will change in a few weeks back to this time that we're on now. So just be ready for that. If you're not already, I guess, aware of the daylight savings shifts around the world, it does affect the open times and for example, when you might start to actually trade. So just take note of that. So yeah, that's probably about it. Look, in terms of the pivot points, obviously I will use them, but they're not really providing a super clear picture. And on the flip side, I will also be watching the order flow for clues as to what might actually happen. But just noting, we're in new pricing territory as of yesterday, and we're still in that pricing territory today. So I don't have any historical data to kind of back up what we might be looking for. One thing to, I guess, keep an eye on is that we are heading, I guess, towards that yearly R3 level. So that's 1,000 points away from where we are right now. And then the next yearly level is the yearly R2, and we are about 1,500 points away from that one. So yeah, look, I'm going to probably wait. As I said, I'm not really seeing anything of value, so I'm just going to cancel this session. Best of luck with your trading, guys. I hope it goes well, but for me, I just don't see any clarity, and often when I don't see clarity, I'm better off staying out of the market, as I've proven over and over again that if I kind of trade on a whim or outside of the normal scope of my trading, often it doesn't work out for me. So I've just got to be patient, and wait for the right setups. Anyway, guys, best of luck with your trading, as I said, and we'll come back next week.